My dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, today we are celebrating the solemnity of Christ the King. I would like to share with you some insights, may not be very traditional, but what I consider meaningful to me, and I believe it will make sense to you as well. Kings are remembered for their personality and contribution they make for the society. Although there are no kings, we still cherish the reminiscence of kings. Is it right and fitting to call Christ as King? Why this feast is named Christ the King and not Jesus the King? We come to know from the Gospels, Jesus consciously avoided any popularity or limelight and outrightly avoided like plague the idea of being made a king. Now, what are the characteristic marks of a king? The physiognomy of a king lies first and foremost in his relationship with his subjects, his familiarity with his people. A king should know who are his subjects. What are their aspirations, needs, desires, anxieties? Similarly, the subject should also know their king, his ideology, his value, belief system, and meaning systems. Jesus knew his people. He knew his friends. He knew his disciples. He knew their strengths and weaknesses. He knew his heavenly Father and was constantly in dialogue with him. He said, I know my sheep and my sheep know me. John 10:14. This familiarity gives a sense of belonging, the owning up of the subjects. Jesus was a leader par excellence because he believed in the strength of his disciples. He assured that they will do much better, greater things. In fact, it happened that way. Familiarity is a sign of loving relationship, most basic and imperative for a king or a leader. Familiarity endears, enhances, empowers. Jesus knew Peter, who was so fragile, one day will be the rock on which the church will be built. He knew Thomas was so doubtful, will be the apostle of nations. His familiarity is centrifugal, tending towards the good of the others, not centripetal, which is self-centered. His affective relationship was very altruistic. He promptly told Mary Magdalene, who came, Rabboni, said, don't hold on to me. Go and tell my brothers, I'm risen. When Peter confessed, you are the Christ, he ordered him not to publicize. When the Samaritan woman exclaimed, Sir, you are a prophet, he directed her to be the apostle of good news to her villagers. Jesus' familiarity was one of encouraging, enterprising, and empowering. The second characteristic mark of a king is the strategic plan for progress. We could term this as prosperity of all, starting from the least. I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. They will come in and go out and find pasture. John 10:9. Kings are known for the monuments they build, but much more so for the administrative skills and the developmental work they undertake on behalf of the people. Where is Jesus in this regard? The Gospels capsule in a gist, he went about doing good. The very presence of Jesus was life abounding, misery alleviating. People flocked to him from all over the countryside, bringing those with infirmity and ailments. No Sabbath law or any social taboo would restrict him from attending to the needs of the people. He paid particular attention to the last, the least and the lost. Among the pressing crowd, he knew there was a woman who needed a special care. He said, "Let the little children come to me." He told the disciples, "You give them something to eat," looking at the multitude who were hungry. "You give them something to eat. What do you have? Out with it." Jesus was against any form of accumulation of wealth. Instead, proposed equal wages to all according to the need. Common good and liberation of all was his goal, and liberation of the least was the starting point. The third characteristic mark of a king is his saving nature. Safety and security of his people. The good shepherd lays down his life for his sheep. John 10:11. Jesus was not a coward or a compromiser. He stood for his values. He cautioned his disciples to equip themselves in times of danger and atrocity. He said to them at the crucial time of his betrayal, "But now, if you have a purse, take it, and also a bag. And if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one." Luke 22:36. He ordered his arresters, "If you are looking for me, let these men go." John 18:8. Jesus was very particular of the safety of the weak and the marginalized. He shed tears at the loss of a friend. Erupted with anger when temple was turned into a marketplace, depriving the women of their lawful space for worship. Epitomized love as laying down one's life for his friends. History remembers only victors, not losers. The only king who had never had a throne, scepter, or crown is celebrated as Christ the King, because his strength did not lie in the externals, but his self-mastery, his action-packed strategies, his accompaniment of his team. He had the essential characteristic mark of a leader in the best of its form. Now, today, as we celebrate the feast, the task ahead of us today is a call to be a leader. Leader like Christ. The Hebrew word Messiah means the anointed one, and the Greek term equal to that, Christos, which means Christ, a leader appointed by God. In this case, every baptized Christian is called to be a leader, chosen by God. All of us are leaders in some way or the other. If you are a husband, wife, father, mother, brother, sister, friend, you are a leader. A leader for a group in the parish, in the basic Christian community, in the locality, in the office, in the family. You are a leader. Now, do we have models for good leaders? Why not? If we look around, we can find there have been models for good leaders. In the state of Tamil Nadu, there lived a chief minister by name Kamaraj, a man who had never gone to school, but one who gave rise to education, started so many schools. People ridiculed him because he could not speak English. He did not know modern styles. But he confronted them saying, "What do you mean by knowledge? What do you mean by knowing? I may not know about America. I don't know about Mississippi. I don't know about Alaska. But I know how many rivers are running in my state, how many dams are constructed, how many canals, how many ways in which we can do the irrigation. I know my people," he said. Knowing the people who are entrusted to care is very important. There lived another leader in China, Mao Zedong. When he started his cultural revolution, he met the people, planned accordingly. And when the multinational companies came forward to give them cars, he said, "Thank you. Let me first make sure that every Chinese has a bicycle. Then we'll think of the car." And such good strategic planning has led that country to the greatest height in the vanguard of progress in science and technology. The development of the least and the last. There was an Archbishop Oscar Romero, who lived in El Salvador. He lived in a time of a very crucial political turmoil. People were massacred by the ruling class, butchered. He became the voice of the voiceless. When he gave voice to the people, they threatened him. People cautioned him, "Archbishop, have some security, be safe." Archbishop Romero said, "When the sheep have no security and safety, why should the shepherd enjoy the safety and security?" In fact, he was brutally murdered. He died a martyr. My dear friends, today, if we look around, we are living in a time where we are not able to see good leaders. Leaders who spend time for the people. The people are waiting to get the attention of the leader. It was very pathetic to know that a group of farmers who were demonstrating to get an appointment of the Prime Minister more than a month were pushed, neglected. Even to the point of demonstrating nudity, they were trying to get the attention, but they were not heard. There are situations in which we see the country is planning big projects, building temples, erecting statues, spending crores and crores of money, but children die in the hospital without oxygen. The rockets are launched, but millions go hungry. What are the plans? For whom are they planning? All the natural resources are sold to the corporate companies to the detriment of the lives of people. Come to safety. Anybody who's working for justice, for human rights, are threatened and cornered. For the Stan Swami, a Jesuit priest who worked for the tribals, is cornered, arrested, threatened. The group of people who protested for the rights of the people were killed and massacred. A young girl was shot dead right into her mouth because she became voice of the voiceless. Done by the state-sponsored terrorism. Today, we are living in a very critical time. No safety, security for people who work for people, activists, ecologists. Now, today we are called to emerge as leaders, every one of us. Do I have the leadership styles and skills of Jesus? Familiarity, love, relationship with my group, prosperity, planning for their growth, security, giving them some safety. Dear friends, as we celebrate the feast of Christ the King, we are called to imitate Jesus, who was a leader par excellence. He was a man of heart. He loved his people. He was a man of mind. He planned for his people. He was a man of strong hands. He gave defense, safety to his people. Today, as a leader, do I know my family? Do I know my group? Do I know my people who are entrusted to my care? Very important. Husband and wife, spend time. Parents, spend time with children. Teachers and group leaders, get to know the group. Dialogue, discuss. Very important to develop this familiar relationship. And then plan for the growth of the group. In what way do I dream for my group, my child, my partner, my friend? In what way do I enhance them to growth? And finally, we are called to give protection to the people who are entrusted to our care. Today, we find so hard to create a safe environment for little ones, the children, girl children, women. They find so much of harassment all around. But a good leader is the one who gives safety and security. As you celebrate the feast of Christ the King, I would like to wish each and every one of you, because we are called to be leaders, love your people, promote them, and protect them. Have a wonderful feast of Christ the King.